Meditation number 2. I hope you're excited. That was such a weird intro. So lads, last time I did this, we just kind of did basic meditation. Today, we're going to go a bit more into detail about your kind of general feelings and how to deal with them via meditation. Now, I don't know a professional name for this because it's kind of my own form of meditation that I use to kind of control my feelings, but would kind of just call it feel meditation. Good enough name? Probably not. So the idea of this meditation is to allow you guys to control your feelings and thoughts and identify the difference between positive and negative thoughts and kind of learn how to manipulate negative thoughts and put positive thoughts to the front of your mind. Obviously, for this video, you guys are going to need to be in a quiet space, somewhere where you can be chill and relaxed, and you're not going to get limited distractions. But apart from that, this should be a load of fun. So, let's go in and explore a bit more how you can get rid of them rubbish and negative thoughts of yours. What's up guys, welcome back to the Focus the Future channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope we're all having an amazing day. Today we're going to do meditation number 2. I have done a previous video on this which I will link above, and it also will be linked in the description. I'm going to do that more often. Last video I kind of linked everything I mentioned in the description. So I'm going to do that again for this video. So anything that I kind of say might not be in a card up above, but if you want to look at it, it will be linked down in the description, because putting cards on videos, apart from 1 or 2, is not easy. If I kind of go over one card, it just becomes a bit of a pain. So it's easier to just kind of leave them down there. But yeah, if you're not interested in anything to do with meditation, if you just don't care and you just want to find out a bit more about me, please use the card above. That's the only time during this video I will use a card, but the rest of the stuff I mentioned will be linked down there. Anyway guys, let's jump into this video and learn how to control your feelings a bit more. Let's go. Now, for this video, I'm just going to kind of jump straight into it. I mean, I'm going to have to explain the basic concept of what we're about to do. But last video, I kind of just bragged about a bunch of rubbish for the beginning part of it. I don't know why. It was on video plan, okay? I thought it was going to look cool when it didn't. So we're going to kind of get straight into the meditation part of this. I'm going to have to explain the entire concept because we are going to need to use 2 different objects during this video. But apart from that, I'm not going to sit here and brag. Right, so for this meditation, we're kind of changing things up. Now, in most meditations, you kind of leave your hands free to kind of do what they want. For this, you are going to need one kind of hard or object that you can't squeeze, and one object that is soft, which you can squeeze. So I'll give you like a couple of minutes, and if a couple of minutes is not long enough, just pause the video to go ahead and grab an object that is soft that you can squeeze, and an object that is hard that you can't squeeze. You'll understand why in just a second. So, what I want you to do, once you've got these 2 objects, is just get used to them. For some reason, I've decided to use a marker pen and a gnat bite banner because apparently I just have one randomly sitting in here, and this is soft and this is hard, but you can use anything. I just want you to get familiar with them, feel them, make sure you know what they feel like, make sure nothing rubs against your skin or irritates you. They should fit nicely in your hand. It should be like a stress reliever. Again, one is hard and one is soft. Apparently I just keep repeating that. So, you have soft object, which for me is a gnat band, don't ask. This is going to be your object of positivity. So during the meditation, when I tell you to, you will squeeze this soft object, and normally it will only be when you're thinking or feeling something positive. Remember that. This is your hard or unsqueezable object, depending on how dirty-minded you are. This object is your object of negativity, not positivity, negativity. Most of the time when I ask you to squeeze this will be when you've got some form of anger or you feel negative in any way. Basically, anything that makes you feel weird or uncomfortable or unhappy, you will squeeze this. So, as you're doing the meditation, you will sit in whatever comfortable position you want, but instead of having your hands empty, you will have your hands with these two objects in just like that. And when I tell you to squeeze them, you just enclose your hands as so. Alright, okay. So, let's just go through some different things that you might be feeling if you want to do this meditation and what it's really going to be useful for. Now, the reason I'm using two different objects and not just telling you to think about it this time is because I want you to actually physically represent what you're feeling and act on them feelings. Instead of just thinking it, you're actually performing an action to do something with that emotion. It's a mental game you can play with yourself to kind of get you to recognise things. Because sometimes we think of things and we don't act on them. But by me telling you to squeeze something, even if you don't do anything with that emotion, you've still acted on it. You've done something with it. So if you get anything out of this meditation, you can remember that you acted on your emotions, which is a good thing. We should all act on how we feel. Most of the time, as long as there's some logic behind it. So, some of the things this might help with. If you are anxious or feel anxious or have got anxiety basically, it might help because you're able to squeeze things and you're going to be completely relaxed. It will help with overwhelming negative thoughts because when you squeeze this, you are releasing tension. And if you do as I say, you probably do that even more. It could help with stress and it could generally make you feel a lot like your life just become a hell of a lot more positive. So, what I want you to do now is grab your two funny objects, which mine is a pen and a random band, and sit in a comfortable position. It doesn't have to be the genuine meditation position. It could be sitting up straight, it could be laying down. All you need to be is comfortable and have your hands available to be able to squeeze two objects. Remember, this place should be quiet where you don't get any distractions, and you should feel completely comfortable. If this is difficult for you, please try your best, but I understand if that's not always fully possible. Even doing this outdoors, I mean, it's going to look a bit weird, but you can do this outdoors as well. Either pause the video, or I will give you a couple of seconds to find that position and sit in it. So, let's just start a normal, genuine meditation by kind of just sitting in a comfortable position and just taking control of your breath for a second. So again, if you haven't seen the normal basic meditation, I'd advise watching that before that, by the way, because otherwise you probably don't get how to do this. But for the people who watched my previous one, just going back into that normal rhythm of how you start a meditation. So sitting in a comfortable position and taking control of that basic breathing function. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. I, for some reason, can't say that saying without getting it the wrong way around. Meanwhile, holding these two objects flat in your hands, you can even let whatever is in your hands kind of move around. Like I have a pen. So at first, just taking control of that breath. Basically, you don't need to be doing any hefty breathing. It's just to get you completely relaxed at this point. While your eyes are open, I just want you to have a look around you. What is around you? Take in the atmosphere. How does it smell? How does it look? How does it feel? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel tense? Is there something specifically you want to achieve by doing this? If so, just get that in your mind. If not, just take in what's around you, because you're about to completely switch off from the world for a couple of minutes. I say a couple of minutes, the last one was like 30, but alright. So, let's remember, making sure we understand how we feel, understanding what we're thinking right now, and making sure we know what we want to achieve by doing this meditation. While you're in this relaxed position, just get them thoughts in your head, because obviously you don't want to do a meditation and have no goal at the end. The goal could be as simple as I just want to feel relaxed. and that's fine as well. After that, you can start to take a bit more of a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, a bit more controlled and a bit deeper. And you can also, when you're ready, slowly close your eyes. Very slowly, very gently, not tightening your eyes, just slowly closing them. Again, when you're ready. It's completely up to you how long you want to take. You can pause this video and sit there for as long as you want. As long as you need to feel relaxed and in the mood. Remember, when you're closing your eyes, do not tense them, don't squeeze them, don't squint, because that's not being relaxed. You're working your muscles, and the entire point of this is your body is switched off. You can even run basic meditation music in the background of my voice if you want, if you're able to do that. Might help you a tiny bit. And after you've done this, I just want you to sit in that position for a second, again controlling the breathing and making sure their eyes are gently closed. You can even, at this point, while your eyes are closed, squeeze the objects in and out of your hands just to get the general feel of what it's like to squeeze them. Sometimes that can even be quite relaxing, just sitting there squeezing an object. At this point, I just want you to take in, as we did last time, how relaxed you are, how calm you are right now, how everything in the world at the current moment, apart from my stupid voice, doesn't really matter. The most important thing to you right now is yourself, your body, and your breathing. Apart from that, nothing else matters. Try not to breathe too heavy or too quickly. You just want to be in a controlled rhythm where it's relaxed but controlled. Please don't start hibernating on me. Right, now we're actually going to get into the objects thing. So again, making sure these objects are in your hands, you've got a good feel for them. What I want you to do is let your brain completely relax for a second. I know it's hard, but try to not think of anything. Just try not to control your thoughts. Just let your brain think whatever it wants. If that's about trees, if that's about, I don't know, really weird stuff that you did yesterday, if that's about what you had for dinner, if that's about what you're going to have for breakfast in the morning, absolutely anything. But every time you think these thoughts, decide whether it's positive, which is the soft object, or negative, which is the hard object. And when you think a positive thought, give the soft object just a tiny bit of a squeeze, and when you think of something negative, squeeze the hard object. It's up to you how tight you squeeze it or how softly you squeeze it. That's completely your own interpretation. Remembering, if you've messed any of this up at this stage, you can always go back to the beginning of this video or the bit where I actually start the meditation to start again. We all make mistakes, and meditation's never easy for anyone. So yeah, just let your brain completely relax and think what it wants. When you think of something positive, squeeze the soft object. When you think of something negative, squeeze a hard object. What we're doing at the moment is just completely allowing your brain to do what it wants, but acknowledging it. You're letting it kind of control itself, but you're also saying to your brain, look, I have control. I can identify what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Sometimes we don't do this enough. We don't let our brains just think what they want. And what you might notice is you're squeezing one object more than the other. You might squeeze the positive object more than squeeze the negative object. Now, you're probably wondering, why is the positive one soft and the negative one hard? The softness of the positive one is to represent the gentle effects that has on your life, the niceness of that. I mean, my object is not very nice to feel. I hope you've picked a better object than I have, but it's to represent how easy positive thoughts are. The hard object, the negative one, is to represent how tough negative thoughts can be. I would advise that when you think a negative one and you give this one a squeeze, that you just squeeze it a tiny bit harder than you do the positive one for now. Just to really release the tension of that negative thought, just to literally lash it out at you. Obviously, you're not increasing your breathing or changing it. You should still be breathing in and out, but still identifying them negative and positive thoughts. This can be really challenging. I'm not going to lie, this meditation is probably not very easy for people who've ever done meditation before. But once you get it right, it can really help. It might even take multiple attempts. But the more you're in this relaxed position, the more you're giving your brain what it needs. So I just want you to do that for the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I will just put music in the background for now, for the next 2 or 3 minutes, just to let you do that. Just to let you completely relax and identify negative and positive thoughts. I don't want you to really do anything else. Remember, it doesn't matter how long you do this, the longer you're relaxed, the longer you don't have to do anything first off, but the more nutrients and the more positivity you give your brain, and also the more tension you relieve. It's up to you if you spend the entire 2 or 3 minutes kind of sitting here doing that. You can skip if you want, but I would advise doing this for a good 2 or 3 minutes just to kind of get the hang of it, because it might take a lot of you a bit more time than just a couple of seconds to pick up this skill of being able to keep breathing going and also squeeze 2 objects. Sometimes even that can be quite difficult. So good luck. Remember, you're powerful, you're great, and identify them positive and negative thoughts. So, it's been about 3 minutes since I last raised my voice. I hope you've liked the smoothing music. I hope you feel more relaxed, more in control, more, smoothed right now. It should be like you're sailing on the sea, on a boat that's not bumpy, just nice and smooth. I hope no one's disturbed you, and I hope you've squeezed that positive object more than you have that negative one. But if you've squeezed this object a lot more, don't worry, we're going to deal with that. So, just to kind of recap, let's just make sure that we're doing the right things, because it has been 2 or 3 minutes. Make sure that your breathing's under control. Let's make sure that breathing pattern's not changed over time. If it has, try to identify why. And also making sure these objects still feel comfortable and you're still able to squeeze them. Right, now what I want you to do is just completely settle your breathing. Let's just let our breathing kind of do what it wants. Very slowly, stop controlling it, stop doing deep breaths, but just let it chill. Just let it go back to that natural rhythm of normal breath. It should naturally kind of start to go back. What I want you to draw your attention to is what object you felt like you squeezed more. Was it the positive or the soft object? Or was it the hard and the negative object? Just have a think about it. I didn't tell you to keep a count because that's just even more stress. But just in an ideal kind of manner, what do you think you squeezed more? The hard one or the soft one? Or in other terms, the negative one and the positive one? Once you've got that in your head, just listen for a minute. If you squeeze the positive one more, or at least you think you squeezed the positive one more, let's just have a think about what that means. What does that mean is going through your head? What does that mean about you? Now, I'm not going to lie, it's quite a positive thing, ironically. It's not a bad thing at all that you think more positive thoughts. It means you're probably in quite a good place right now, and your brain feels quite, settled and calm. Also think about how crazy some of them thoughts are that were positive. Were they quite imaginative? Were they quite crazy? Or were they quite calm and normal? Thinking about that might give you an idea of what your brain's doing right now. What type of week you've just had. If your thoughts were a bit more crazy, maybe you've had a bit more of a crazy week. If your thoughts were a bit more imaginative and a bit more fairy-like, maybe you've been very creative this week. And if the thoughts were normal and calm, you've had a positive and relaxed week, which is the best type of week. It's a great thing to be doing. Now, if you think or thought that you squeezed the hard and the negative object more, it's not a great thing, but we can fix it and we can get back to that positive object. So, if you squeeze this one more, let's have a think about what that means. Now, first off, we need to clear up what type of negative thoughts they were. When you were thinking these thoughts, what were these thoughts about? Were they about family? Were they about friends? Were they about relationships? Were they about your work life? Were they about home stresses? Try and identify what them thoughts related around. And let's identify where that was. Because that will give us an ideal view of where these negative thoughts are coming from and what part of our life is causing these negative thoughts. Also, what did these negative thoughts revolve around? Were they things that happened in the last week, or were they just completely random, out of the door type thoughts? They didn't even relate to your current life. If they were kind of the last week, last 2 weeks, maybe you just had a bad week and you need to relax a bit. Happy days, you're relaxing right now. If there are a bit more crazy negative thoughts, things that are not really even happening in your life or are just unthinkable, maybe we need to do a bit of work on being a bit more positive, which is fine because self-growth is the best activity in the world, I promise you. And once you nail it, it can be quite motivating. So, let's identify what area of our life is mostly Where mostly did these negative thoughts come from? Was it relationships? Was it work life? Was it any other thing you can think of? And also identifying how crazy these negative thoughts really were. If you're positive, just go back to that normal relaxing kind of position. You know, letting your breath do what it wants. And just let your brain kind of relax from it. Enjoy the moment, as I would say. If you've got negative thoughts, a bit of work needs to be done. But that's fine as well. So once we've identified that, just accept that for a second. Just really sit here and give yourself a pat on the back because you probably just overcome one of the hardest challenges any human can ever face. Owning up and identifying their own problems. Identifying what part of their life really isn't working. For a lot of people out in society today, that's not easy. So just pat yourself on the back for that. And for the positive people even more so, really give yourself a pat on the back because you're on the right path. Identifying problems is the first step in being able to solve or make them problems less problematic. You know, the fact that you've identified it now means you've got some grip on it. It's no longer just a floating thing in your head causing you to be depressed or causing you to be distressed. You've now got a grip on it. You've identified it. You've held that, in my case, a pen or whatever object, and you know it's there. More importantly, you've released some dopamine onto them negative thoughts or them negative parts of your life because you've squeezed something. You've acted on it. And by squeezing it and thinking it, your brain gets some dopamine because you know that you acted on it. You did something about it. Even if it wasn't actually in your life, you did something physically. And after we've done all that madness, after we've identified all these different things, just accept it all, take one deep breath, and be like, I've just probably accomplished something that many people can't accomplish. And then what I want you to do for another 2 minutes or so, I'm just going to let music play, is completely switch off again and just go back to that deep breathing. Again, letting go of all that tension, but also kind of sitting there and reflect for a minute. You know, really relax, but also reflect on what you've just done, kind of thing. And we'll deal with all the negativity or the positivity once we come out of this meditation. But you give yourself 2 minutes to just completely relax. Right, so it's been about 2 minutes. What I want you to do now is, when you're ready, just let your breathing relax and slowly open your eyes. And once you've opened your eyes, just move your fingers, move your feet, and just get your body a bit more mobile because you're probably a bit stiff. And then just give yourself a pat on the back. You can also say hi to me. Hi, opened your eyes. I've been sitting here sweating like a pig because my room is absolutely insanely hot. But you can give yourself a pat on the back because you know what? You just did something that was incredibly difficult. And what, again, many people can't do. Now, after this meditation, I would advise that you go and write in a diary, write down them negative thoughts if you had any, write down what you thought of that meditation, and do it as kind of a piece of reflection. What did you have more, negative or positive, and why did you have more positive or negative? Just kind of give that a bit of a shuffle, write it down, because you're probably not going to remember it. Now, this meditation was a bit more of an advance on the basic meditation that we did last week. Last week, all I was doing is teaching you the basics and allowing you to settle into a pure state of relaxation. That's all I wanted you to do, and be able to visualize something, be able to deep breathe, but also do something with your own head, which is a skill you have to learn in itself. This week, I gave you a meditation that you'll actually be able to work with to kind of deal with them negative thoughts of yours. So for people who feel like negative thoughts, or even for people who've got positive thoughts, if you feel like you've got negative thoughts overwhelming you at the moment, maybe doing this once a week, you could even do it every day if you wanted to, might help you. And every week you do this, maybe it could be on a Sunday or a Monday or whenever, just write down in the journal whether you got more negative or more positive. And then try and identify a reason why, and try and help and work on yourself to solve that. It's not going to be easy, and don't worry if you can't solve them, but remember, the fact that you identified it is good. Now, what you should slowly start to notice is that by squeezing that hard object and releasing a dopamine, by identifying problems and kind of writing them down, what slowly starts to happen is your brain feels worked on. It feels like it's been given attention. And by doing that, you've worked on yourself. And as time goes on, as you work on these negative thoughts, you should start to see more positive thoughts knock up in your little head. I mean, it's not little, you've got a big brain, remember that. So, it's completely up to you if you do that. I just thought I'd give you the tools and resources that you could use every week to kind of relax, but also deal with some complicated stuff that goes on in your head. But apart from that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this meditation. I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope you feel relaxed, and I hope your day's going amazing. And obviously, try and make tomorrow even more amazing. But apart from that, please use this video more than once if you want. Please use it next week if you need it again. Or even write down what you've got to do, or remember what you've got to do, and try and do it every week. Trust me, you will see results. But apart from that, I hope you're well, and I will catch all you dudes next week. Bye-bye. Actually, not next week. On Thursday, or on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. Right, anyway, see you later. Bye-bye.